Good afternoon. Oh, it's not yet afternoon. Morning, good morning. I first would love to welcome all of you to AMIU International University. You are in our space, and I'm aware this is not the first time this summit is happening from this venue. We are so pleased to have you here. AMIU International University is a university of health sciences, and therefore, being the host for this summit aligns with what you do. My name is Dancan Irungu, like was said. I am a member of staff here, the Dean Graduate School, and lead enterprise development. I needed to say that I normally don't put a tie many times. I rarely dress this way. I did this for you. I saw my colleague sitting at the back. He's no longer there, the HOD for Department of Nursing and midwifery. I also saw him dressed in a tie. The last time I was making, telling him, the last time I saw him in a tie was when he had a graduation here. So I think this is how important this summit is. David, if I remember well, I remember, yes I do. When this happened last year, you had a guest, one of your guests was Professor Osuo, our Vice Chancellor. And he was away. So he requested me to step in for him. Now I'm stepping in for GCO, our GCO, Dr. Irungu. So probably this gives you confidence that next time you can invite me on my own account. Yeah, so I will only share a few notes for so few minutes, then I hand over the mic. But I most sincerely would love to congratulate all of you here who believe in the beauty and the ability that which resides among young people. I want to share my encounter with a man that has passed, a week that has passed, and a day that passed, only yesterday. So I begin with the day. I met the owner, a friend of mine, Hinata Pharmacies, a group of pharmacies. She also is the chief pharmacist in the referral hospital of my home county. A young person. And we had conversations with her. And is a person I have known not for so long, about 2 years ago. But I'm super proud with her. She's a pharmacist with government. I said she's the chief pharmacist in the referral hospital of my home county. But she has a chain of outlets of pharmacies in the city. A number of them are 24-hour. Like the one which is in my state is a 24-hour pharmacy. I am person. Why I'm picking her is because in the culture health there is something about culture health and social innovation. And I've looked at a number of things that which you're doing, David and team. And at the heart of it, I see social enterprise. Enterprise development. We have just started as a university an institute, so young. We launched it during graduation this year, 14th of July. Amref International University Health Entrepreneurship Academy. We've started that. Indeed, at the moment, we even have a hackathon happening. We will be having the final pitch happening on 24th, which is Friday next week in this venue. Why I'm saying that is because as a school that which does health sciences, we are aware and we are not blinded to the need that all of us here need to rise up to and march with respect to the challenge of employment and unemployment which we have heard in this region and even beyond. So when I met Hinata yesterday, I felt so pleased. When I sit in class with my students in BSc Physiotherapy, I keep reminding them something which they know. To start a physiotherapy clinic on your passport, you only need 80% of what you need is not a bed, it is not a room, it's not a hospital, it is not any equipment, it is your skill. So even as we talk about the access, and we know the data, we know the statistics, we know the numbers, all that we know, we must be alive to the capabilities that which we have ourselves, which is not necessarily created by the ecosystem, but it is persuaded by the belief that people have at individual level to be able to create something which produces livelihoods for themselves and the people that they care for their communities and beyond. And that's the challenge that I have to a community that I'm speaking to today. David, I am unlikely to talk about SDG number 3. Unlikely. Good health and well-being for all. I will not talk about that. But I desire to talk to all of us who are here today at individual level, probably not even as part of reculture, not part of group in this summit, but as individuals. So I asked Hinata, how many people know you? When they come to buy, when they come with prescriptions, how many people know? She told me, because of course she has staff who are senior than her a lot in age. Sometimes the confidence which is inspired by age. You know that? Which is not always accurate. So she tells me, there are some who come and because they have already now developed rapport with her staff more than herself, they don't want her serving them. They want the other staff serving them. But she is the owner. She is. And of course when that happens, she's so happy. She's so happy. What she's doing, she's contributing to closing the gap of socio-economics with the skill that she has as a pharmacist. She's doing it more with Hinata than what she's doing as a chief pharmacist in my home referral hospital. And it's the truth. It's the truth. So as young leaders and as young people, that is the challenge I would love to put to all of us. you doing in preparation to participate in an economy that creates opportunities and jobs for ourselves and also for others? I must congratulate the founders of Reculture. David, this is the third summit happening in Irungu. Yeah. I have come from a conference in Cape Town 3 weeks ago. Africa held a collaborative. It puts together 10 institutions that are funded by MasterCard in some grant, 10 years, something big. And the conversation, at the heart of conversation, youth. Indeed, out of the 4 days conference, the main activities, including the pitching of innovations in health, revolved around youth. And therefore, conversations like this are not happening here on RAY, they are also happening elsewhere. But I'm so proud that this is happening in our space and also in our university. And David and team, I would love to congratulate you, for this and for thinking about doing this. So that is Hinata, on yesterday. Now, my 1 week analogy, only a week ago, I attended a graduation for Dr. Joy Waithima, a young doctor. She graduated from Egerton University. So the reception, the party was happening on Saturday. It's not even a week. Someone said this, among the people who addressed that graduation was a Professor Phil Guru, the DVC academic and student affairs from Daystar University. She said, I would love to have Joy, doctor, who I walk to her clinic and she's looking at me. When she is doing diagnosis and when she's doing the prescription, she's reading my emotions. She's not only looking at the computer, she's having a personal relationship and engagement with me. And I thought what Professor Guru was talking about in that graduation ceremony, talking to a young doctor, that's not a medical language. That is leadership language. And when you look at what Reculture is doing, even being in the space for health, a lot of the conversations there revolves around leadership. They revolve around leadership. So I'm asking, as a leader in the space you are, what are you doing differently that connects with people? What are you doing differently that connects with people? Not only at statistics, but at a personal level. What are you doing? What are you doing? So that is the challenge you got. Then finally, 1 month ago, 3 weeks ago, I attended this health collaborative that I'm talking about in Cape Town, and I picked one session for pitching. Fantastic health innovations were pitched. There was one done by a Kenyan medic, young Nikita. She has come up with was this Nikita? Or not Nikita. She's Anita, not Nikita. She's a doctor, Anita. She has a vectogram. Then another doctor from Uganda, young doctor from Uganda, they are able to track the veins. They have come up with a small gadget. They place it, wherever, and you can be able to see the veins. You see the struggle which sometimes medics go through to be able to identify the vein. A simple gadget. You place it there and you can be able to see the veins. It's not expensive. It doesn't sound like magical. You know what they call the power of small. But you can tell what that little simple innovation can do in changing and providing comfort in the space of, simple, but transformative. So I want to ask you, while you are at, what is that keeps you away from sleep? Because you want to do it, because you are a leader, and you want to provide an innovative solution. And can I tell you, among the pitches that which happened, there was none from a person who was beyond 40 years old, because they had allowed early stage startups in hell to do that. None. The people who sit here, the big thing which is happening now, and the next big thing which is going to happen, it is the people sitting here. I doubt that I'm a man, I still have my space for motivation. But I doubt, and I mean it, I'm honest, I'm genuine. Because I have seen it. That's a challenge you have. So that happened a month ago, week ago, a day ago. Now, 3 things I will say, then I get seated. Important considerations for these youth summits. Number 1, I hope you know the challenges that which you have. Part of the significant challenges that which you have in health systems, besides bad and poor ratios, small numbers, huge populations, I know you know some of the greatest challenges that which we face in this continent relates to leadership. I hope you know that. Now, as young leaders in the space of health sector, your progression and your movement and your influence is likely to be built and influenced and determined by these 3 things. Number 1, building important relationships. Building important relationships. So I ask you, what meaningful relationships are you building? David, I don't know why you targeted our GCO, Dr. Irungu time. I saw the mail, even from Sarah, her private, I even saw the mail from, and I saw, I saw the conversations. And he's a very busy person, just like, So why would you target a person like that and not target others who are laterally available? No, I'm not saying that I'm laterally available. But I'm just saying, there is a person you would consider to come speak here as a guest, and they take that as a privilege. Of course, it's a privilege all the time. But you know what I mean, isn't it? So, what important relationships are you building? What important relationships are you building? What extra thing are you doing to place yourself in a cycle that which makes you have interaction with meaningful relationships? They say your network is your net worth? What important relationships are you building? What opportunities are you creating for yourself for feasibility? What are you doing? We have students here, don't we? It is. I'm looking for a young doctor. There was, in the other one, there was a young medic. No, it was in medical school at KU. I can't see him. But he did it after that. We have had conversations, then they dropped at some point. But I was really very pleased to, I can't find him. He was in 5th year last year, so he should be finishing doing his internship. The Vice President of University of Toronto in Cape Town said, he's Professor Joe. He said the strength of collaborative, because it was looking at, that convention was bringing 10 institutions together. He said collaboratives are built on the virtue of trust. And because AMREF is owned by an NGO, AMREF International University, and you're in those spaces, and is a development organization, and there is a lot of fundraising which happens, and there is a lot of partners engagement that which happens. I know organizations don't fund organizations, organizations fund people. Organizations don't fund organizations, organizations fund people. What relationships are you building that would pick a call and say, I have got a young lady here, I've got a young man here, consider him? What call would come? I'm very confident that, Dr. David, from the conversations, if these are from that, then at your young age, what that is doing is Professor Osula, we see here, the GCO, our group CEO, at young age, at double their age, you are sitting on the same table and you can have a conversation, and Dr. Dancan can tell you, I'm sorry, I'm not available. Then you say, please, we wouldn't mind having an endorse. Those were the words. Can you endorse? That's what you say. Okay, that's what happened in that meal. Endorse an alternative. Now I'm the alternative. Now be swallowed. But I hope you get what I mean. It is more than skilling. The investment that you put in building relationship could just be the, and it is so true. I have seen it. I am in development world and I know. So that is a challenge I'm putting to you. So number one, building important relationships. Number two, you see, let me just give it. Number two, financing for social enterprises. Financing for social enterprises. Why I say financing for social enterprises is because health is a social good. Is that not so? Come on. It's a social good. If this was a summit for what? Something pure economics, we would have had banks. I like it. We would have had land selling, companies, Optiven. We would have, but you see, health is a social, just like education, isn't it? But it's a whole sector, multi-billion-dollar sector. young people stepping forward and creating social enterprises which create impact at the community level, but also provide economics for them. You know, they say passion does not pay bill. We have just come from lunch. From 10 o'clock. That tea was paid for. There is going to be lunch. It is paid for. Doing a agriculture youth voice summit is another conversation. It is lunch you're having. It has to be paid for. How do you finance? How do you create models? How do you create enterprises which are social good enterprises, but they have a beauty that they enjoy on sustainability? I've said we have pitches happening here on 24th. Those among the people who will be pitching for Health Entrepreneurship Academy, an academy that I'm privileged to lead, are early stage startups in healthcare. Those who, the best 10, we will link them to the University of Toronto, their innovation hub linked to Tamari School of Medicine, their School of Medicine. They are partners for us here. In that hackathon. So when we were in that health collaborative in South Africa, the major question kept on coming: how do you build a social enterprise and you are not commercial, you are not a business? What are you, even when you are putting judging criteria? How do you judge? How do you move forward an enterprise that which is not a bottom line enterprise, but it is making a social impact in the communities? So I am proposing to us, as we look at how we are positioning to match and close the gap, think about financing, think about sustainability. Passion does not pay bills. Passion does not pay bills. The last one, number 3. Who is your audience? Who is your audience? Who is your audience? A little story is said about a young pianist, a keyboardist, who did his first performance in the prestigious Ladder Theatre. And they say, it's not a story, real thing, 13-year-old. So he did it and he did it so well. So when he finished the presentation, everybody in the auditorium, they stood up, giving him a standing ovation. Then they demanded he has to repeat. So the stage manager, you see the curtains have already closed. You see when a presentation ends on stage, so you close the curtain. Good morning. Are you following my story? So the curtain closed. But he was peeping in between the curtains. And they said, bring him back. The manager said, go. You are letting us down. It doesn't happen all the time. They don't ask for this all the time. The boy did not. So their manager, now being upset, said, can't you see they are all upstanding, giving you honor? Then he said, all of them are not upstanding. There was one old man at the back seated. So he's not studying. The manager said, who cares? All the other thousands are studying. Then he said, I care. The old man who is seated is my trainer. It's my trainer. If he's not standing, I don't have to progress. Now you could tell part of who he considered to be a significant audience was his music teacher. It didn't matter who else was up studying. Most important audience for him was his teacher. So as you do it, who is your audience? Would you be doing it for fame? Would you be doing it for money? Are you doing it for the love of health and transformation? David, as we raise these voices for youth, who are we pointing ourselves to as the audience? Think about it. Roosevelt said, do what you can with what you have where you are. Please say that with me. Do what you can. Do what you can with what you have where you are. Again, do what you can with what you have where you are. Thank you so much.